With the mission to keep as many men on as many guns for as long as possible, we called him Doc. Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. And now your host, Aaron Chief Seabird.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Hey, it's great to be here at Warrior Built Studios today. Hey, this is Combat Vet Vision. This is a place where I get to really kind of talk about situations that help impact our veterans, our combat vets. And, we bring in our sponsor, supporters, volunteers, and a whole lot of other people to also talk about their reasons why, their help, support, and what their story is too. And this helps impact the vision of what it is to be a combat vet and kind of how we might move forward in some positive directions and different things like that. I'm really honored to have my buddy on today, John Tomlinson. He's a really good friend of mine. We go way back to beginning of my MIT team experience, my third time to Iraq when I got blown up. His family kind of adopted our MIT team and helped support. His father was instrumental in making sure that we had some gear that wasn't even out yet, such as the protective headgear for our helmets. They sent some gear to us that wasn't even out yet. So his family also supported us even after the mission. After I got blown up, they kind of took in my family, really kind of gave us a place and a direction to kind of motivate us. And my retirement party was at his place. He was Dana Point's mayor. He's Idaho Lowline Cattle Company, Tomlinson Management Incorporated. There's a lot of things John is, and he's also a board member of the Warrior Built Foundation. So John, hey, welcome, brother. I appreciate you. He's on a couple other boards and some other things, and doing some incredible things. And he's got an incredible story. John, hey, thanks for being here, brother. Always appreciate your patriotism. I know your family has even been at a Marine Corps ball for the Wounded Warrior Battalion West, that I invited them to at some point, and it was just a really incredible time and experience when your dad was still here with us. And we've done a lot of things together. We've had some great opportunities, but there's some incredible things going on with you too, brother. So tell a little bit about your story and why it is that you're part of this experience to help our combat vets, and what's your motivation for that and stuff like that.
Well, Chief, thank you for having me on today. And I was looking at our picture from the Marine Corps ball we went to. I can't even remember when it was, but it's been a few years now. And thank you so much for having me on. And today, what brings me here today is to talk about my issues with alcohol. And Chief, you've seen me during some of my misadventures when poor behavior and poor choices fueled by alcohol led me to do some things that were not probably right. And I started on my alcoholist journey about a year and 2 months ago. And I realized that alcohol wasn't serving me well. I was up to 303 pounds. All my stats, my health stats were headed in the wrong direction. My blood pressure in April of 2022 was 170 over 110. And it was very bad for my health. My A1C was creeping up slowly, and one glass of wine just wasn't enough. I'd have another one after that, and it progressively got worse. And it was beginning to impact my life severely. I went on a major diet and I started losing some weight, but I was drinking the same amount of alcohol. And I came to realize one day that I need to stop drinking. And it verified about a month after I stopped drinking completely. I was driving down the street and a young child on a bicycle pulled out in front of me. And I barely stopped in time. And I realized if I would have had a couple of drinks in me at that time and something bad would have happened, I would have gone to jail for a felony DUI for either killing somebody or hurting a young child. I barely stopped without alcohol in my system. And that made me realize I was making the right choice. There are difficult days, believe me, when, you want to have that drink, right? But I realized I just can't do that because I can't just have one. I had to have more.
Wow, that's an incredible. I haven't seen you in a while, but I've been seeing your pictures, and you've lost some incredible amount of weight. And you kind of briefed me on the story. You were at the at the hospital, and I believe you're on the board for this hospital, right? Um,
Correct.
kind of tell that story, and how, it's incredible what people will say to you. Like you said, hey, what can I do to help? And sometimes the answer is put the mask on first, right? And then you can help, but you got to help yourself first. So tell that story, because that's an incredible piece, because people are people, man. And it's awesome for me to see that they reach out in weird ways, and kind of push you into a direction that you really need to go.
Well, I was June of 2022. I was going out to a birthday lunch for one of the sisters at Mission Providence, and I said, "Sister, what can I do to help you in the hospital?" She says, "John, we need you to get healthy." And she looked me dead in the eye. I'm like, "Whoa!" That hit me like a ton of bricks. I said, "Gee, when a nun's telling you something, you better kind of pay attention, right?" So I like, oh. So she started me on this health journey, and that's how I started eating healthier. And part of the alcohol problem was eating bad things too. I mean, I would have a couple of drinks and I'd just eat whatever was in front of me and didn't stop. So she said, "We'd like you to get healthy, John." And I started on that path. And once I started on that path, people would come up to me and say, "Gee, John, you were really in a bad place, but we didn't want to say anything to you because we didn't know what to say to you." And people won't tell you when you're in a bad place sometimes because they don't know quite what to say. They don't know how to tell you so you're not offended. But I was in bad way, Chief. And you saw me, you were worried about me yourself.
Yeah, and it is. I think that's a human nature kind of thing. Once you start getting into a place that's better, a lot of people will come up to you and say, "Hey, man, you really were in a bad spot." And you're thinking, why didn't anybody say anything? And it's because human nature is that we might be offended. We may not want to we may not be ready, or be like, nah, nah, don't worry about me. And it seems like we just kind of brush a lot of stuff off that sometimes is super important. And we all need to take kind of stock in that, and really kind of, we only know what we know, but with a team of people that are surround us, those puzzle pieces come to be in the light. And I, in my journey of combat vets and really kind of focusing on this, it's being able to talk to you. And I remember I was really kind of afraid to offend you one time. I was at a party, and I think we talked, and a 4th of July party that was really cool. And for me, it's really hard for me to watch fireworks because they blow up. And I remember I was almost kind of in tears because I didn't want to really tell you that. Man, I was just kind of upset because everybody doesn't pay attention to the fireworks anymore. They're all like talking to each other, having this really weird time, and there's all these things going on, but they can't really focus on. And this is me. I'm focusing on, man, this is an explosion that doesn't happen in America because it doesn't have to, because we're so protected. We have this sense of, hey, everything's okay, this great thing. But those explosions meant a lot different to me than they did to everybody else. And sometimes I maybe took it a little too far, but I didn't even want to tell you that, hey, man, I just want to, just grasp this moment and live into it. And that's my PTSD kind of like pushing me in a wrong direction. But at the same time, I kind of had a hard time talking to you about it. And it was a cool moment, and you assured me that that was a really cool thing for me to talk to you about. And so I know some of these hard conversations that I've had with you um, have really worked out, but they're very hard to kind of do because we're afraid to offend each other, right? And that's a really cool thing.
Chief, I can remember, we spent a couple of 4th of July's together, and I was sitting next to you one year on the patio overlooking Dana Point Harbor. And
Yes.
when the reports came from the fire, the explosions, I could feel you shake next to me. And then I looked over that time and I could see just the angst and and the fear in your eyes. And I was like shocked that the firework could do that. But then I look back and from when you were injured in Iraq, and I can just think, oh my gosh, he has to relive that every time that explosion goes off, that report. And it made my heart sink, my friend.
Yeah, it was, but I really I want to be able to enjoy it like I did when I was a kid, and it never is going to be like it will never be like that. But I kind of want to put myself in a situation where I'm forced to kind of enjoy it, and hopefully that I can get through some of this. And one of the things I look at is I don't want to be a victim of anything that's happened to me. Although, the things have happened to me. My ankle's all jacked up. I got a hernia. I got all this shrapnel in me, neuro issues. And having you, give me some opportunities. Your father has given me some opportunities to do some things that maybe I wouldn't be so anxious to go try because I sit back and would just rather not do it. But by being out there with my friends and family and people that I trust and care about, it makes it a lot easier to be able to try to enjoy some of those moments. But those moments are real to me in a different way than they are to some American. But and for you to be experiencing that with me and there with me and always trying to understand that and be part of my journey to help combat vets. Obviously, I pulled you into the Warrior Build piece and said, "Hey, John, can you be on the board? Can you help us kind of look, good and also do a good job?" And now you're even ready to even step that up a little bit. You've really seen, some of the things that Warrior Build's doing. The PTSD Foundation of America. I mean, you support me in all these different directions. You even run into people that need my support and help, and we can combine that, and it's such an incredible thing. um and sometimes we're just forced into these things, and I appreciate your passion for your life and your directions. um and your dad's passion, man. He pushed you into so many different directions. It wasn't, I don't think it was your direction to have the Idaho low line cattle company, but you have it, man. He's like, "Oh, I want to go up to Idaho and have this cattle company." It's like, what? It was just some strange thing. And the next thing you know, you're like running I think the largest cattle company up there for low line cattle company in America, something like that. Um, but he left a cool legacy, man. You know, and that's Frank Tomlinson. He was always an adventurer too, and I always respected that. He wanted to be like, a police officer at age 80 or something. All kinds of weird stuff that was cool, man. I remember he pushed me into weird directions. Like I, I've always my military career is in a basket, but he was also part of that military career on an outside L. He's like, "Hey man, let's go buy let's go buy some night vision goggles. We're gonna go to the night vision company." Like, we go knock on the door. It's not even really open, but it is. And we go in there like, "Hey, we'd like to buy some night vision goggles." They're like, "Oh no, man, you need to have a top secret clearance and you need to get some other help from some other things. You need to have permission from this." He's like, "Yeah, I brought my chief with me." Like, "No, I'm retired." He's like, "Yeah, but we got to make sure, that everything's secure up there because we don't want the coyotes to eat the cattle up there
Oh, yes.
in Idaho." So, I mean, it was always, but he got us gear before we even got gear. So your dad was a huge part of my life too, with you and just the influence of coming back from combat and being able to move forward in some very awesome directions and have the support from you even now in what I do. So much appreciation.
Thank you,
Do you want
Chief.
to add? Yeah, add something to that, man. Whatever you want to add. It's
Well,
it's a really good story.
our Jeep trips when we went on the Rubicon together, and you were a big help on the Rubicon, helping people over the trail, and Jeeps getting stuck and flipping over, and you were right in the mix, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that was a mission too, man. You know, I say that in a lot of ways. People may be like freaking out about the word mission, but the mission is to get home safe, but also enjoy the environment and also have an impact on whatever it is that we're doing. And Warrior Built racing, doing all these things, an incredible thing. That's a mission. Get out there, come back, and we went on that Rubicon. Get out there and come back, and 4 Jeeps. I think we traveled up there with, and camped out and had this really great time. It was a lot different than the camping trips that I'm used to in the military. I'll tell you that. Luxury camping, your dad had made sure everything was good to go, and um, it was a great adventure, man. Great adventure.
Well, I'm always here for you, Chief, and I attend the calls on occasion that you have, and what you're doing is your the warrior group is very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for what you've done for our country and what you guys have done for our country. It's amazing, and I support you 100%. I will not let a moment go by if we're doing a practice or something where we do the flag salute and we say the Pledge of Allegiance. It's top priority to me. Boy Scouts, Masons, you better do the flag salute when you're around me.
Yeah, no, that's good, and you are good about that. And I want to say it's really awesome that you came on today and talked about you and your alcohol, and we got a lot of veterans dealing with alcohol, and what direction do they need to go to get sober, and why would they? And you're a great reason to the reason why, so that you can uh, be better for everything that you're trying to be part of, and that's a huge thing. We all need to be moving forward in positive directions, and what those positive directions look like for each one of us might be a little bit different, but the motivation to move forward in that direction has to be a better path in everything that we do.
Agreed. It's a step-by-step process, beating this alcohol demon. It's tough, and there's days it'll be challenging, but if you can just make it another day and say, you know what? You got to realize your triggers and what triggers you to drink and want it's social settings, whether it's stress, whether it's something going on in your life. You just got to recognize that and, okay, I'm not going to have a drink to solve that problem. And one drink leads to more. And I realize I can't drink ever again because that one drink turned into many drinks.
Yeah, and that's something I've always been worried about. I never want to make alcohol a reason why I can't enjoy it. And luckily, I'm not an alcoholic, but for those that are, this is very an important, awesome lesson. And and John, I definitely look forward to our future together and doing things. And we don't have to worry so much about you. Now, I need to make sure I'm tackling some of my health, and some of I like to eat, and that's my biggest thing. So I need to worry about that and get that into control a little bit. but hey, if if somebody wants to get a hold of you, feel free to put out any information. They can do it through me. If somebody's wondering, what's John's story, and maybe you feel like you need to talk to him for any reason, you can definitely go through me here on my channel, or reach out to me. I'm all over the internet, at at aqsiebert@yahoo.com, and aaron.siebert at at ptsdusa.org. But John, any last words and anything? Oh, you know what? Before we do your last words, let's go to our the sponsor. The VA sponsors me for a PSA. Let's do the PSA, and then we'll come back for any final words and how to get a hold of you. Appreciate you.
Okay. Agreed.
Stand by.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
All right. Hey, we're back. Combat Vet Vision with John Tomlinson, a great buddy of mine, and we go way back, and sponsoring our sport and our veterans, our combat vets, and now all of our retired guys as well. So, John, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, feel free to. And any last words? You got anything else to say? Feel free to say it, brother. I appreciate you.
No, if you have an alcohol addiction like I did, it's hard to say the term I'm an alcoholic, but I am. You can beat this. You can beat this. Just keep your head down, and believe me, you'll like the person you are without alcohol if you have an alcohol problem. If you need to reach me, I can be reached at TOMENT, the numeral 1, at AOL.com. And you can reach me through the Chief. And Chief, I wanted to thank you for your support of me and being by my side. And even when I did, my misadventures, you were there always to support me. And I wanted to thank you for your friendship as well, friendship goes both ways, and you certainly upheld your end of the bargain. So thank you so much, and glad to be a part of this today. Thank you for inviting me to speak today.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you. Hey, this is Combat Vet Vision. This is a place where I really get to talk about myself for the most part, but it's not really what it's about. It's about the Combat Vet Vision. It's a vision of moving forward in positive directions. It's other combat vets, their stories. It's our sponsors, supporters, volunteers, their stories, and the reason why they're sponsoring and supporting what this mission might entail, and the direction they like to see it go, and that they've seen it go. Their stories. It's a sometimes it's not about being a victim so much as it is telling a story, and there's struggles involved, but those struggles are real. And if you get past some of those struggles, life becomes easier and more manageable, even though you're still dealing with all the situations that are going on. So I just want to say, you may be dealing with some stuff, some crazy, crazy stuff, but managing it at all, and in the chaos of life, finding a vision for you to move forward. That's really what's important. So until next time, hey, this is Aaron Siebert. Strength and Honor, out.
The only way time flows under blue